What's up, guys? Welcome to another edition of the Endless Endeavor podcast. Today's going to be another solo cast, and I apologize. We wanted to get the Guns Gis crew together and really give you guys an awesome Guns Gis debrief. But what we keep finding is when we wrap that camp up, we have so much cleanup and so many logistical things to take care of on that last day that we just don't have time, man. And not only do we not have time, but after the camp, everybody's dragging ass so hard. And, you know, we're looking at flying out at the end of the day on Monday. And it's not good energy for a podcast. Feeling beat down and exhausted is probably not the best energy to bring to the show. So once again, we decided to not record. And then I'm going to do a solo episode giving you guys kind of the recap of the weekend. And, you know, I'm here to tell you that this program continues to fucking amaze me every single time that we put it on. You know, this was only class 6, so we haven't done a ton, but we're certainly in the groove. You know, we know what to expect. We know how to deliver what we're trying to deliver. We understand both technically, like what skill sets and the curriculum that we need to create and administer, but we also are really starting to fall into the groove of just the right energy and really giving people the weekend that they deserve to experience when sharing that with us. And so, you know, each class kind of has its own little theme, right? And there was a lot of couples in this class, a lot of married couples that attended the course together. And then we had another spouse that was a spouse of someone that attended previously. And so it's cool seeing members of the same family coming through and experiencing this together, because I think it's important. I think it's important that if you were on the mission and you were on the path to capability and trying to be a better person and all the things that we talk about on the show all the time, man, that is not something that you want to aspire to do alone. That is something that the people that are close to you, the people that are in your network, your family, your friends, your circle, your intimate circle of people, they need to be brought up on the path as well. Now, we all play different roles. We talk about it all the time. If you've listened to the show, you've heard Stanaway say, not everybody's going to be a fucking warrior. We need berry pickers too, right? And the funny thing is the term berry pickers, it kind of sounds like it has a negative connotation to it, but it really doesn't, guys, because one key aspect of leadership is understanding that everybody fills a specific role and that every specific role is important. And so not everybody's going to be your door kickers, your warriors, your fucking assaulters, your operators. That's not the role for everybody. In fact, that role is probably going to be reserved for a very select few, a small percentage. And then everybody else has different skill sets that they bring to the table. Now, you know, when I talk about this on the show, it sounds like I think the zombie apocalypse is coming. And if you're new to the show, let me articulate my thoughts on this. I believe that our world is in a very unstable place. If you believe otherwise, I don't think your eyes are open. But I'm not a doomsday prepper. I'm not living in fear. I don't think like, oh no, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? I don't really feel those emotions because I look at it like this. If the world continues to go down the downward spiral, the downward trajectory that it is currently on, things could get bad. In fact, things could get horrible, but they could get horrible in some aspects of life. As they get horrible in some aspects of life, it'll actually be better for other aspects of your life. And let me explain. The more adversity that you are facing with a group of people, be it a ranger platoon, be it your family, be it a group of friends, the harder life is, the closer you get with those people. The bonds that are forged through hardship are unlike any bonds that you will ever feel outside of hardship. And that is because we have this innate ability inside of our brains to endure. And when we endure together, we understand, man, we are moving forward as a unit and we are accomplishing this mission together. I honestly think it is because we have this tribal need in our DNA. Because like I've said many times, no man is an island. To think that you're going to stand on the top alone, good luck with that. Are there outliers that can make that happen? Perhaps. But the vast majority of human beings that find success in this world align with the right people. They join forces, they build alliances, and they crush as a team. Teamwork is extremely important. And so I look at it like this. The worse the world gets, the more we're going to need to lean on each other. The more I'm going to need to really rely on you implementing your skill set at the best ability in the best possible manner that you can. The flip side of that is you're going to need to lean on me, and you're going to need to lean on my capabilities. And when we find ourselves in an environment like that, our personal skill sets become extremely important within the tribe. Now, like Stanaway, for instance, he's a blacksmith. He can forge weapons. He can forge horseshoes. He can do any type of metal work that we need. And guess what, guys? In a fucking life or death situation, a guy that knows how to do all that stuff, very important. I have friends that are electricians. I have friends that are plumbers. I have friends that are physicians. I have friends that are dialed in with plant medicine. I have friends that understand how to live off the land and how to use local resources and how to hunt and how to butcher, and on and on and on. We all bring something to the table, right? But the worse the exterior world gets, the closer our interior world becomes, because we have to rely on each other. And when now you have people in your circle, not because they're cool, not because you like their vibes, not because they're funny, none of the reasons that we typically build circles in today's world. In tomorrow's world, there's the potential that the people you keep in your circle are there out of 100% necessity. And guys, we don't know what tomorrow brings. I'm very open about that. When we look at, the political climate, when we look at the wars that are being waged, when we look at our elections, and today, guess what today is? It's election day. It's November 8th. And we will find out what tomorrow holds. But I don't have a lot of hope, because I think corruption is running rampant. But when you look at the current climate of planet Earth, with these massive corporations trying to take over, these massive pharmaceutical companies, you have BlackRock and Klaus Schwab and all these people that are trying to push their agenda on everybody. I don't know what tomorrow holds. When I say that, there is zero fear in my heart. Zero. Not 0.5% do I feel fear or anxiety based on the fact that these motherfuckers that are trying to push the new world order may turn our fucking lives as we know it upside down. There's no anxiety attached to that, guys, and there shouldn't be for you either. Because we're just going to have to shift left or right, and we're going to have to adjust the way that we live our lives, and we're going to have to figure out how to win in a new manner. And when that day comes, just like I said previously, the people to your left and right will hold a much higher value. You will feel more connected, you will love those people deeper, and you will be experiencing the human condition on a higher level than we are today in today's society, where it's just Groundhog's Day, we're in the concrete jungle, we're fucking commuting back and forth, and we're just doing the thing like the little worker bees. So if doomsday presents itself, we're good. We're not concerned about it. If it happens, right? Now, the other possibility, and maybe this is more likely, I don't fucking know. I'm not Nostradamus, and I don't have the fucking crystal ball. Maybe the more likely scenario that plays itself out is enough people are fed up with the corruption. They are fed up with the bullshit that has been fucking being force-fed down our throats for 24 months straight now. Actually, a lot longer than that, but it's been crystal fucking clear for the last 24 months. maybe enough people have collectively become fed up with the bullshit that they say we're changing the trajectory of this country, and we're going to do it through our own personal excellence, our own personal actions, and also who we put in office and who we vote for. And we're going to use our voice, and we're going to rein these motherfuckers back in. We're going to put competent, good-minded, good people that hold good morals and good ethics. We're going to put those people into these positions of power that have the ability to change the trajectory of this country's future and really the world's future overall. Maybe that's what we do. And if we do that, the apocalyptic scenario that we talk about often, it may never even come to fruition. In fact, we might change the trajectory of this country so much that we get to worry about building our businesses, becoming powerful entrepreneurs, assimilating wealth, building networks of people, and really find ourselves in a time in history that is prosperous, where we are chasing our own personal prosperity and the prosperity of our tribe. Maybe that's what's going to happen. And I know I talk about this often. And if you think, I hear this every week from him, change the channel. Because it's important, guys. It's important. In the Army, we call it wargaming. When you're going out on an operation, you're going out on a fucking movement to contact, or you're going to go hit an HVT's compound. When you're going out on these operations, something that we do is called wargaming. And wargaming is playing the what if game. What if, when we're infilling to the target, Chalk 1 goes down? And first squad was in Chalk 1, and now we're down 10 Rangers. Who's going to now pull security? Who's going to be the primary effort? And you just play the coulda, shoulda, woulda, what if game. And what that allows you to do is, if en route to the objective, Chalk 1 goes down, let's say the bird goes down based on anything, gets shot down, mechanical failure, whatever, and you're down 10 Rangers on the objective, and it's a platoon size objective, that's a substantial amount of people that aren't going to be to your left and your right helping you conduct the operation. So what's it look like now? And then you can start to play those what ifs. The reason that we do that in special operations is because if something presents itself and you haven't thought through it, man, that comes with confusion, that comes with anxiety, and that is detrimental to the operation. However, if something like that presents itself, and you can say, yeah, back in the talk, we talked about that if Chalk 1 goes down, we're going to divide second squad, and half of the squad's going to do this, and then the second half of the squad's going to become the main effort, whatever it is, right? However you decided we would play these different scenarios out, you've done a rep in your head. Now it's not a foreign idea. Now there's not this anxiety attached to the change in the plan because you've done that rep in your head. So the more reps that we can do in our head based on all of the chaos that ensues our culture and our society, when the things do or do not happen, we're comfortable with it because we've said, you know what? If this happens, I'll probably have to do that. If that happens, I'll probably have to do this. Now, like I always say, there is a balance. Everything in life is a balance. Everything in life has a dichotomy attached to it, to steal Jocko's word. But like I say regularly, we want to be informed, but we do not want to be consumed. The consumed versus informed argument can really be applied to all of these different things. Because if we spend every waking hour playing what if in our brains, well, that's actually defeating why we're doing it. That's probably going to add anxiety to our lives. That's probably going to make us live in a place of fear. Well, what if this happens? What if that happens? What if this happens? So guys, again, it's a dichotomy and there's a healthy balance. Play the what if game to a certain extent that continues to serve you. Hey, what if the grid goes down? What does that look like? I can tell you right now, I'm in Western Washington, just got home from New Orleans last night. And this is one of the biggest power outages that this state has faced in years. Maybe 5 or 10 years. It was a massive storm. Lots of people are out of power. And lots of people are seeing right now how difficult life might be if the grid were to go down. They're getting that front center view of, oh shit, this is a little tougher than I anticipated. And that's okay. Maybe that's a blessing in disguise. But the reason that I bring that up is it's important to understand that we need to put a little bit of planning behind these potential hardships. And guys, not everything is government overreach and fucking World War III. It could be a fucking storm. It could be a collapse of the economy. It could be these things that are outside of both our control and also outside of the government's control too. So think about what you need to think about. Put the energy in to an extent that continues to serve you, but doesn't bring you to that low vibration where you're living in fear. It's kind of become like the primary mission of this show. And I get fucking inundated with messages from people that are becoming better versions of themselves every day. But I want you guys to remember one thing. That better version of yourself, or that best version of yourself, for those of you that are able to acquire the best version of yourself, that best version of yourself will serve you regardless of the exterior world. That best version of yourself will serve you in pure fucking chaos, but it'll also serve you in pure fucking prosperity and everything in between. That's why the mission's easy. That's why it's a simple concept to understand. We need to be fit as fuck. We need to be smart. We need to be witty. We need to be healthy. We need to build our relationships. We need to learn to love. We need to learn to hate. We need to learn to fight. We need to learn to nurture. All of the things that are encompassed in being a well-rounded human being. No matter what direction the world goes, you win if you become that person. Am I that person yet? I don't think so. But I know I'm on the path. I know I'm on the path, and it feels fucking good, and it feels powerful. And guys, I can tell you, for the first time really in my adult life, I'm fucking proud of who I am and what I'm doing. And I think that's key. When you get up and you look in the mirror, do you feel like, fuck yeah, I'm becoming the best version of myself? I'm not saying I'm there yet. I know it's a long, arduous path, and it's going to be a struggle. But for the first time, I no longer have imposter syndrome, and I know that I'm bringing value to my community. I know that I'm bringing value to people through this fucking podcast, and I know I'm on the right path. Once you know that, man, you can fucking set yourself free a little bit. You can breathe a little deeper. The weight of the world isn't resting on your shoulders because you know you're doing what you can. And when you're doing what you can, that's all that fucking matters. You know, today is also the last day of the Live Hard program. I'm doing, I talked to you guys in depth about 75 Hard. And now I'm on the 30th day of phase 1. Got up early, did my walk, drinking my water, all the stuff that you do. And it's the last day. And the reason I did it is because we're leaving for Mexico on Friday. I wanted to really force myself to live in a high level of discipline, because when I go to Mexico this weekend, I want to be able to cut loose a little bit. It goes back to what I was just talking about, balance. We want to be able to balance our health and our fitness and our nutrition with fucking enjoying life still, guys. You think I'm going to go to Mexico and eat fucking apples and meat? And don't get me wrong, I fucking love apples and meat. And there'll probably be plenty of meals where I do eat apples and meat. But I'm also going to have some sushi. I'm also going to have some cocktails. I'm hoping they have Guinness down there. We have to balance enjoying our lives with staying disciplined and being on the path. And so I knew that I'm leaving this weekend. Man, let's fucking buckle down for 30 days and go back right into the Live Hard program and do phase 1. And now I'm on the last day already. That's an important thing for you guys to think about. When you look at a challenge or a personal excellence program, a lot of times when you think about the end date, that's daunting to people. Fuck, 75 days. Or in this case, 30 days. Well, there's 2 ways to look at that. And I've been doing this since I was a kid. I did this in Ranger school. I did this in Ranger Indoc. I even did this in boot camp, any military course. What I would do is I would get there. And for me, like for instance, I got to Ranger school and I forget the date because I had to do pre-Ranger first down in Benning, and then they roll you right from pre-Ranger and you go into day 1 of Ranger school. And so for guys from the regiment, Ranger school is more than 60 days. Add another month to that because we hit our own personal regimental pre-Ranger. They want to set you up for success. They also want to fatten you up. Here's the funny thing about pre-Ranger. In Ranger school, they starve you. In pre-Ranger, they force feed you. When the cadre brings out your meals, every single last bite of food will be consumed. And you know those fucking military mermites. You know, they have those big steel containers that they heat up with the hot water. They have bread underneath a lot of the meats and the sausage and the bacon to just kind of absorb the grease. Eat those fucking pieces of bread too. Rangers would be so stuffed that they would be hiding food in their cargo pockets and then going to the wood line to piss or shit and burying food too. Now that's an integrity violation and you get fucking in trouble if you get caught. But what do? We can only eat so much food, right? And so it's just kind of there's a little funny Ranger story for you. They would force feed you, then to go into the next phase where they're starving you. But the reason I bring this up is when I was going into a military course, for instance, Ranger school, the last day of Ranger school was September 11th. Now, it just so happened that it was September 11th, 2001, and my last day of Ranger school wasn't just a last day of Ranger school. My last day of Ranger school changed my entire fucking life. It changed the entire regiment. It changed the entirety of special operations, our missions, our skill sets, everything that we do. My whole world was changed on that day. But regardless, I didn't know that at the time. What I knew at the time is on September 11th, Ranger school is over. It will be completed. This class has come to a conclusion on September 11th. So anytime I felt bad, anytime I felt tired, anytime I felt hungry, anytime I thought, man, this fucking place sucks, I would think, well, the world's going to keep turning and the days are going to keep clicking by. And regardless of what I do or what I don't do, on September 11th, Class 0901 will be standing on the graduation field in Fort Benning, Georgia. Men will be having their Ranger tabs pinned on their shoulder on that day. Where do I want to be on that day? What do I want to be doing on that day? I don't care if from right now to that day is hell on earth and I'm freezing and I'm starving and I fucking hate it. Or if I go home and I'm lounging and I'm hanging out with my girlfriend and I'm getting laid and life is fun. Whatever happens between now and then, it's a fucking moot point. Because on that day, men that I'm in class 0901 with will be having their Ranger tab pinned on their shoulder, the men that succeeded. So do I want to be home as a failure, or do I want to be standing on the parade field with the men that succeeded? And when I would ask myself that question, it's a non-issue. There's not two sides to that argument. I have to be standing with the men that succeeded. I have to be standing with the winners. Because if I was back home and I went to bed on September 10th and I woke up September 11th, I would think, man, I'm in this warm, cozy bed and men are fucking getting their Ranger tabs and I'm not because I failed. It would haunt me. It would haunt me in a manner that to this day, I don't know if I could even fucking look at myself in the mirror with any type of pride. Now, I've told you guys before, I quit high school wrestling after my freshman year. I wrestled 7th, 8th, and 9th. And then on my sophomore year, I was like, you know what? I like partying. I like hanging out with my girlfriend or chasing chicks. I like beer. All the things that you start to find at 16 years old started to captivate me. I said, I don't feel like being an athlete. I don't feel like attending practice and running all evening. I just want to go, I'm going to go have fun. And I did. And I didn't wrestle 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. And I'm here to tell you, at 42 years old, it's still one of my biggest regrets. Because as someone that eventually fully embraced MMA and fighting and grappling, I've always known, man, if you gave 3 more years to wrestling, to this day, you'd be that much better. Your takedowns would be that much better. But they're not, because I put the easy path in front of me. I put the fun path in front of me. I chose to put partying and girls before the grind. And the thing is, you can do both. Plenty of guys did both. I just didn't want to balance the dichotomy. So, something to think about, guys. The date, look at the future. Choose a date off your calendar and say, where do I want to be on that date? What do I want professionally? What do I want in my relationship on this date? And don't wait to fucking do these things on New Year's. New Year's resolutions are the fucking bane of my existence. There's a little caveat to that. If you're a person that has found success because you set a New Year's resolution for yourself, congratulations. That's fucking awesome. Because it's just another day. But if you use that day to win and become better, man, you should be proud of that. But what I always say is if you know something needs to change and you know you need to get better, the start date should be tomorrow. The start date, January 1st, is just some arbitrary date that's on this piece of paper that hangs on our wall. Don't wait. Start now. I challenge all of you guys to try 75 hard. Oh, well, you don't understand. It's my sister's wedding. And then next month after that, my best friend invited me to go on vacation with him and his wife. And yeah, guys. And guess what? Every other motherfucker on planet Earth can come up with a list of excuses why living disciplined, eating clean foods, and training hard for 75 days is going to be an inconvenience to your fucking life. And I'm here to promise you that if you commit to it, it will be a fucking inconvenience to your life. You will go on vacations where everyone else is sitting around the pool having cocktails and you're in the gym on the assault bike. Sometimes growing into the best version of yourself is not going to be the most comfortable journey. It's not going to be enjoyable every minute. But instead of coming up with excuses why you should not, maybe you should come up with some reasons why you should. And this is one of the reasons why I think most people should. And all the people that I know that have done 75 hard have become a better version of themselves. So if you're unwilling to take 2.5 months of your life to become a better version of yourself, you have to ask yourself, what are your priorities? What are you trying to do with this life, with your existence? I really want you guys to think about that. And just remember, regardless of the social temperature, the political temperature, you being the best version of yourself is mandatory if you want to win. All right. I'm not going to go too much into Election Day, guys. Everybody's very, very well aware of where I stand on this. The red wave is coming. And here's the funny thing about the red wave. It's not that I love everything about the Republicans, but I do hate everything about the Democrats. They have driven this fucking country into the dirt like a motherfucking lawn dart. And for anybody that acts like they can't see it for what it is, I don't know if they're hypnotized. Like, wasn't it Robert Malone, mass form psychosis or something? How a lot of people that have put their trust into the government and into the media, man, they're under a fucking spell. I would rant at you guys to get out and vote, but this doesn't come out until next week. And what's done is done. So we will see. We will see if fucking freedom-loving Americans changed the trajectory of this country, or if corruptions in these motherfucking corporations and pharmaceutical companies and evil politicians continued to manipulate everything to take the fucking control and even grasp it harder. Because I think that might be what happens. But we shall see. You know, at Guns Gis this weekend, I was talking to Lappin and Joao, and I was like, guys, isn't it nuts? It's nuts to think about the number 3 in command, the 3 IC of our country, the 3 IC of the free world. Her husband is driving around hammered, getting DUIs, getting fucked by fucking male prostitutes, and just being a fucking sexual deviant. Listen, guys, if you're gay, you're gay. If you're straight, you're straight. I don't judge people. That's a lie. Let me take that back. I do judge people. If you're fucking dancing with your fucking ass hanging out, if you're a dude that wears a bikini and a wig and shakes your fucking dick in little kids' faces at some fucking restaurant, I do judge. In fact, I judge you so hard that I pray for you to be fucking publicly strung up because you're manipulating our youth and you're fucking making society continue to spiral in the downward trajectory that it's been spiraling for a long time. So there's plenty of motherfuckers that are getting judged. But gay versus straight, guys, I say it on the show all the time. You can't say this. What you're about to say, Greg, you can't say this. The gay community's strange to me, and I can fucking say that if I want to. I have friends that are in it. I don't give a fuck what you do with your life. You live your life, I live my life. And if our paths aren't at odds with each other and we're not causing each other issues, that's called motherfucking America. That's what we're supposed to be doing. And you want to go fuck dudes? Cool. I'm going to go over here and fuck chicks. And I can think it's strange, and I can think it's bizarre, and I can think it's gross too, because I'm not turned on by men. So if you're a man and you're turned on by men, I can look at that and think, ugh, that's weird. That doesn't mean I have a problem with you. That means I think, ugh, that's kind of weird. But the reason I bring this up is I don't care. You can live your life the manner that you want to live it. And I know good gay people. The reason I'm calling Paul Pelosi a deviant is because he's bringing prostitutes in and having like violent encounters with them. That's not a gay or a straight issue. That's just a fucked up human being. If it came out tomorrow that when Jennifer Anderson was out of town, I had a house full of prostitutes and we ended up hitting each other with hammers and assaulting each other, there goes my fucking credibility. Male or female, gay or straight. You're living a life that's surrounded in fucking deviance. And that's the 3 IC of the world. That's pretty fucking nuts to think about. And we just keep pretending these people are good to go. We're just going to let them keep fucking living their dark, disgusting, vile lives while they're in charge of us. Well, by the time this podcast comes out, I pray that enough people have felt the vibe that I feel where we're fed up with these motherfuckers. And we go out there and we change the trajectory of this country by the ballot. It's by the ballot or by the bullet. You've heard me say that plenty. And I don't know if we're ready for the bullet yet. We shall see. But if you think the bullet's not coming, I don't think you're grounded in reality. Historically, human beings can only be subjugated for so long, pushed so far, before they take a stand and say, you know what, I'm fucking done. So all you cocksuckers out there that think if you are so lucky to continue to hold power in this country, let it go to your fucking head. I hope it does. I hope you feel untouchable. And I hope you feel like our fucking thing, everything we're doing is working perfectly. Because I promise you it's not. Because there's motherfuckers out there like me, and I'm not unique. I'm just the guy with a podcast. There's nothing unique about me. There's a million Greg Andersons. There's a million Andy Frisellas that want to fucking take this country back by any means necessary. And if they keep pushing and they keep fucking cheating and they keep the corruption up, well, two can play dirty. And the people that are wired like us, we're more reluctant to play dirty because we're good people. We have morals and we have ethics. But once you push us to a point where for the future of our children, we have to play dirty, good luck. Good motherfucking luck. All right. Fuck, guys. We're already at 37 minutes, and I'm just fucking having fun. A couple other things I want to talk about. Gym update. My gym is built. The new gym is built. We expanded by 3,000 square feet. Now we are waiting to pour the slab. Before you pour the slab, you have to do some electrical stuff with your grounding plates, your plumbing, all that. So, but the actual structure is done. We're going to get the slab done. We're going to get the rooms framed in, and we're going to be ready to rock and roll probably within a month or two. It's fucking exciting. I just bought a bunch of gymnastics flooring foam, and it's 2 inches thick. And so, you know, and if anybody's tried this, let me know. This is kind of something that I just came up with on my own. Everybody in the grappling world builds these false floors. And if you don't know what a false floor is, it's basically a bunch of foam cubes that you put under sheets of plywood, and then you mat the top of that. And the reason behind that is the false floor, it has give to it. So for takedowns and throws and just grappling in general, you don't want your mats sitting on a foundation. You don't want your mats on a slab. Because even though, you know, I got the really nice 1.5 inch zebra mats for building out the new academy, they've already shown up. They're fucking great. I love that company. I love that product. But it's still 1.5 inches on concrete. So what we did, you can go to Norbert's. There's this website called Norbert's, and it's a gymnastics outfitter. And what they do is they sell like wholesale gymnastics equipment from the ground up. If you're going to build a gymnastics gym, they have everything. And they have something called Crosslink, 2-inch Crosslink. And it's 2-inch thick floor that's built out of foam. I'm going to put the 2-inch Crosslink down. Then I'm going to build my mat room on top of that. And the reason that I think that's the right way to do it is because most false floors, all the different blocks underneath, they wear and tear at a different rate. And then you get a wavy mat room. You can see it in a lot of gyms. You go in, you look at their floor, and you can see it's uneven. There's certain areas of your mat room that just by nature of how grappling works get more use, and then certain sections that get less use. And what you find is the floor doesn't wear evenly, and then you get that waviness. So I'm hoping to avoid that. I'm hoping to, I'll get this all set up. I know a lot of jiu-jitsu guys listen to this, and that's why I'm bringing it up. There's probably a lot of you that are like, I don't give a fuck about a false floor. Talk more shit on Paul Pelosi getting fucked by a faggot. And trust me, we got time for both, right? But listen, it's important to understand how to build out a jiu-jitsu gym if you're a jiu-jitsu guy. And I'm of the mindset of abundance. And rising tides raise all ships, right? And the more jiu-jitsu gyms that are out there, the more people that win inside of the jiu-jitsu culture and the jiu-jitsu community, it's better for everybody. And so the reason I bring this up is because I know a lot of jiu-jitsu guys listen. If you're thinking about building a new gym and you're thinking about building a new floor, stay tuned. I'm going to let you know how this works because I think it's going to be the new way. I really do. I used the same method on my last mat room, but I only did 1/2 inch crosslink instead of the 2 inch. So more to come on that. Yeah, on my way, let's take it back to Guns Gis for a little bit. I'm going to give you a quick overview of the weekend, and then that might take us to wrapping this up. I just need a quick drink of coffee out of my badass Endless Endeavor No One's Coming to Save You Yeti mug that they won't mass produce for us. Sorry, guys. We're looking into other options. I want to get these mugs out. The No One's Coming to Save You hoodies and hats, all that stuff's coming out soon. I've been getting bombarded, but I'm going off on a tangent. When I went down to New Orleans, the first thing that I did is fly from Seattle to New Orleans. And when I was in the line, and I'm in TSA pre, right? TSA pre means you don't have to go through the X-ray machine. You only have to go through a metal detector. You can keep your hat on. You can keep your shoes on. You don't have to pull all the shit out of your bag. It's just less intrusive because you've taken the time to meet with TSA privately. They do a background check on you, and they determine that you are likely to be less of a threat based on the background check that they conduct. And if you haven't done it yet, you fucking need to, because I think it's $80 for a 5-year pass, and TSA pre-security is literally 10 times as fast, probably, as the regular security lines. Substantial difference. For $80, if I was going to travel one time in the next 5 years, I'd still do that, let alone traveling multiple times a month. It's a no-brainer. But man, I get up there, I go through the X-ray machine, no issues, and then they're looking through all of our bags. And for whatever reason, I don't know if the person that's watching the X-ray machine gets to determine what bags get pulled and what don't, or if it's like a computerized algorithm that sees certain shapes and says, oh, pull that bag. But they had like 5 bags pulled. And so we're waiting and we're waiting and we're waiting. And they have one guy going through all these bags. And the girl in front of me she'd been traveling around, and she came through India, and she bought tea for her friend. It was a birthday present, because he's like, what is this? All fucking like, you could tell he thought he was Tommy Lee Jones in The Fugitive. And it was embarrassing to me, because I was like, fuck, dude, I used to work at the airport. And this is the experience that people are getting. But he's like, what is this? She goes, it's tea. Well, I'm going to need to open it up. She's like, well, it's vacuum sealed and it's a gift, and it's tea from India. And he fucking pulls this little tin out, opens it, pulls this like foil that was vacuum sealed. You could see that it was just fucking cinched tight around the tea. And he goes, I'm going to need to open this. And he rips the foil open, and, like that fucking little vacuum seal breaks. And then he dumps some of the tea out on the counter right there and goes, I'm going to need to test this tea. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Just so we're clear, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, and if you work for the TSA, I apologize. But the entire time that I assisted in the security of the SeaTac airport as a police officer in Seattle, I was told that TSA has not prevented 1 terrorist attack, 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 1 terrorist since 9/11. All of these fucking nonsense fucking things that we get subjected to haven't stopped anything anyways. And so now we got motherfuckers dumping little girls' tea out that was supposed to be a fucking birthday present. And she goes, and then the lady, because I said there's like 5 bags. And this lady was like, hey, my flight is in 20 minutes, but how long is this going to take? And he looks at her and goes, ma'am, I conduct one investigation at a time and I solve one problem at a time. And I'm like, oh, this is a Jason Bourne motherfucker. He is serious. And so the lady that's having her tea fucking dumped on the counter, she says, is that really necessary? That was a gift. And now, and it was an expensive gift. And now it's opened up. Was that really necessary? And he goes, have you heard of 9/11? And she's like, what? Yeah, you're kind of young, so maybe you haven't heard of 9/11. And she goes, I've heard of 9/11. He goes, yeah, I'm here to stop the next 9/11. And, I just fucking laughed. I was like, that's the stupidest motherfucking thing you could have possibly said. But I'm not going to cause an issue. I'm not going to call him out on it. Because guess what? I got a plane to get on. He's checking my bag next. Me becoming combative or having a verbal altercation with this guy, it doesn't serve me at all. So he wraps her investigation up. Took about 10 minutes. And then he's on to me. I had a pack of baby wipes. Apparently baby wipes need to be inspected too. But I got out of there fairly quickly. But do you guys ever get in some type of altercation or observe something, and then as you're walking away, you think, motherfucker, dude, I didn't handle that right. I should have done this. I should have done that. That happens to me all the time. And I think it happens to most people because in the moment, you just think like, what a fucking retard, and you shake your head at it. But the real way, I think, to react to that situation is to say, excuse me, sir, can I get your name, please? Because you're sitting here telling this young girl that she might be too young to have heard of 9/11, but you're here to stop the next one. Like, bro, shut the fuck up. Okay? Stop trying to intimidate. Stop trying to bring fear. Stop trying to scare people. I think something like that should have been brought up to a supervisor. Be like, you know what? If he can do his job all he wants, but he doesn't need to yell at people asking them if they've heard of 9/11. Because that doesn't have a place in airport security, and that doesn't have a place in making people feel safe and secure. In fact, it's quite the opposite. But when you hire from the lowest common denominator, which is TSA, sorry to break it to you, and I'm not sorry if you work there, because if you do, you know I'm right. A bunch of fucking goons there. That's not how they should be fucking conducting themselves. Super fucking unprofessional. But that is what it is, right? We know that the fucking government on every level is ran by clowns, and TSA is the bottom of the totem pole and the most clownish of them all. So I'm going to wrap this up, guys, with a couple different things. I wanted to talk to you about our fireside conversations that we had at Guns Gis. And in my opinion, that is what sets us apart from other courses in the tactical world. And this isn't me saying anything negative about other courses or the other companies. You know, there's a lot of cool training to go out there and seek. And I mean, we literally say it at our course, seek other training. Go check out sheepdog stuff. Go check out Glover stuff with Fieldcraft. Go broaden your horizons. Learn different techniques and tips and tricks. See the differences between what we may teach you versus what somebody else may teach you. Anybody in the industry that says like we're the gold standard and this is the way and other people are fucked, and like, again, that's more of a mindset of scarcity. Man, if you want to attend Guns Gis and then you want to go attend Glover's course and Kennedy's course, that's cool. Like that's what we should be doing as a community. fixating on honing our capabilities, go seek it through all the different avenues that are available. But what I've heard through a lot of people that have attended different courses is it's very oriented towards the training specifically. But at the end of the day, everybody goes back to their hotel, or everybody goes, little cliques form, and 4 people go to dinner here and 4 people go to dinner there. Something that we made a conscious effort to change with our course is not only are we teaching you tactics and techniques and procedures and grappling and shooting, but we want to build relationship. We want to build culture. So at the end of the day, we all get together. All 30 of us get together on Friday night. All 30 of us get together on Saturday night, and we build this big bonfire and we sit around. We just share ideas and we talk about life. And you know what, guys? Like, fucking A, man. Sometimes it's fucking dark and heavy, and people are talking about like children that were lost, and like how they've been struggling through this massive depression. And sometimes it becomes like a therapy session. And then other times people really want to hear like war stories. Like, dude, what was it like in Ramadi in 05 and 04 and 05? And sometimes it's just shooting the shit, telling crazy stories. Other times people are seeking knowledge. And, we've talked about it a lot as cadre. What's the best conversation to have to build that camaraderie and build that sense of community? What's the best direction to take the conversation? And guys, I don't really know. The conclusion that we've come to thus far is that the conversation should be whatever organically transpires within the group. Because as soon as you try and choreograph something, we've lost that authenticity, and I think people will feel it. So instead of guiding a specific conversation with specific talking points, we just let the conversation go where it goes. And on this last Saturday, we got a lot of questions from specifically the young ladies. The young ladies in the class, they were more apt to be verbal and put themselves out there, because when you're speaking in front of 30 people, that comes with the nerves for some people. Public speaking is a skill set that you develop, and a lot of people are very apprehensive of it, which is strange to me because I've been doing it for a long time, and talking to human beings doesn't bother me, but I can understand how it does for other people. But some of the questions that came up, a young lady asked us, she said, we're learning to use deadly force on people. When do you know that it's time to use deadly force in a real world encounter? And I thought, what an interesting question, and what a good question, right? Because, you're learning to shoot people, but it's a skill set you're honing that you don't really know when to use it or when not to use it. And that's kind of a fucking problem, right? You have this new capability, you just don't know when to use it. And the answer is probably even more confusing than the question, because what I told her is, first and foremost, when you are involved in any type of violent encounter, use your intuition. Now, intuition is not something that you can legally defend yourself with, though, right? Well, I thought he was going to hurt me, so I did this. Well, you're going to need some better fucking facts and circumstances to paint a picture than I thought. But the first thing that you feel from someone, if you feel like they're safe, if you feel like they're dangerous, if you feel like they're presenting a potential problem, whatever their energy that they put off to you, listen to it. I've talked about on the show before, the book written by Gavin de Becker. It's called The Gift of Fear. And it talks about how women that have been subjected to violent assaults and rapes, 100% of them said something felt off in the minutes or seconds leading up to the attack. The body's ability to be intuitive and feel negative energy, it's a real thing, guys. And the reason that I can sit here and say it's a real thing is because in Ramadi, Iraq in 04 and 05, when we got attacked on average 40 times a month. That's the data. By, I don't remember how long it took to kind of get in the swing of things and feel the vibe and the groove, but it got to a point where we knew we were going to get ambushed before we got ambushed. Now, why is that? Are the people that are trying to hurt us, are they putting out a frequency that you can hone in on? Or are the locals that understand their own city and their own streets seeing things that are a little out of alignment, and then perhaps we're reading their energy? We're reading the way that the locals are looking at us or the way that they're conducting, and it's not even on a conscious level because it's so subtle. I mean, if people are running, and I've seen this too, where like people are fleeing and people are closing their fucking shops and shit, and it's like, guys, something fucking nuts is about to happen. Get ready. That happens too. But sometimes it's so subtle, you can't even put your finger on it. And you're just like, guys, man, something's in the fucking air. I don't know what it is. I had a guy on my team, his call sign was Johnny Bravo. He was a retired SF guy. And we got hit real bad on August 10th, 2004. RPGs, fucking PKMs, the cars all got chewed up. We fucking limped home on run flats. Literally, before the ambush was initiated, he got on the radio and goes, "You guys feel that? Get ready." And then it was like, thum, 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 thum. Literally like fucking 4 seconds after he said it. And that was actually cool. It was cool because nobody got hurt. We were in those level 7 armored Mercedes and BMWs and Suburbans. And the cars got fucked up, but nobody got hurt. And when nobody gets hurt, you can laugh about it. You're back at the chow hall 20 minutes later and we're all joking. But it was a cool experience to see that, man, this guy with a lot of experience read the environment. He felt the environment to a point where he made the call and said, "Hey guys, get ready. It's about to go down." Then it went down. For me, that was like, it was an eye-opening moment because we all have this intuition inside of us. We all feel things. We all see things, but we also are reluctant to make that our truth and put that out to the universe because you don't want to be wrong. You don't want to be like, "Guys, I feel like we're about to get fucking hit." Put that out to a 16-man team. And then we just drive home and nothing happens. And be like, "Bro, quit fucking spinning us up. Why are you acting crazy?" Right? Nobody wants to be that guy. But the thing is, if you feel it, it's not by accident. If you feel it, there's a reason. And it's a built-in survival mechanism that goes beyond anything that we can understand. And if you feel that as a young lady out in society, take the time to attempt to diffuse the situation without doing anything violent. Lappin said, for instance, if you're walking down a street and there's a guy behind you and you get that vibe from him, like, man, this there's something off, immediately cross the street. And if he crosses the street, that just kind of corroborated, like, okay, this potentially is something is transpiring in real time now. It's not just in my head. Maybe you double back and you switch and you start going the other way. If he turns around, okay, look at this. I just confirmed that there's something happening here now. And now, that's when maybe you become default aggressive. And you turn around and you say, "Get the fuck away from me. I don't know who the fuck you are, but stop fucking following me." I tell my girls that. If you perceive someone as a threat, immediately and aggressively confront it face on. While you're in public, while people are around you, use your environment to your advantage. Don't just tell yourself, "Oh, you know what? I'm probably being paranoid," and walk to some dark parking garage where you isolate yourself and you're out in the middle of nowhere now alone. And lo and behold, you were right. And now that motherfucker's there. Right? Use the environment to your advantage. And when there's still people around and you're still in daylight and you're still on the street, say, "Get the fuck away from me." Are we clear? And here's the deal, guys. Maybe there's still a percentage that he was lost too. And he crossed the street and he has no ill will and he doesn't want to do you harm. Maybe that's a possibility. But I'm here to tell you, if a guy gets told to fuck off from a young woman who feels intimidated, I don't care. Go home and fucking cry about it. What's more likely to be the outcome of that scenario is that predators want the weakest link. Predators look for the most vulnerable people that they can, and they hone in on the most vulnerable people. And when you're a young lady and you turn around with your fucking head held high and your shoulders held back and you say, "Get the fuck away from me," that person's immediately going to be like, "Yep, it's not going to be her today. Let's look for another one." Because they're weak pussies and they don't want conflict. They want to victimize people. If they wanted conflict, they'd be on the jiu-jitsu mats. If they wanted conflict, they'd take a cage fight. They don't want an equal fight. They don't want to test themselves. They don't want to test their resolve. They don't want to do the things that we are looking to do. They're looking to victimize the weakest link. And once they see you're not the weakest link, they're going to move the fuck on. Another question that was asked by a young lady, she said, "How do you deal with the anxiety of a violent encounter or a potential violent encounter?" Guys, that's a fucking tough one, right? Because here's the deal. I've been in fights that I thought were fun as fuck and was happy that the situation transpired the way it did. I've been in fights when I'm like, fuck, man, this is a problem. I've been in engagements overseas where I was like, this is going to be the one that gets me. I'm probably fucking dying today. And even when I feel those things, even when I feel like the cards that are laid out in front of me are not on my fucking favor, I still don't feel really anxiety or fear. But that's also because I've put myself in these situations and I understand that this is part of my chosen profession. And I understand that this is kind of the part of the life that I've chose. So it's very different from an Army Ranger in Iraq versus a young lady walking to her car in the Barnes & Noble parking lot. But me and Lappin both addressed this, and we both said some different things. And the first thing that I said is, if you start to find yourself in a situation that's causing you some anxiety, first of all, listen to it. But second of all, get control of your emotions. I see it in jiu-jitsu all the time, where a young kid will be getting knee on belly or mounted, and it comes with anxiety, and it comes with people starting to have those reactions to a stressor. And a lot of times those reactions are an autonomic nervous system response, and it's not something that they're choosing to do. Once your body is doing something that you are not choosing it to do, that's when I start thinking about controlling my breath, telling myself that I need to get control of my emotions, finding reason, and looking to promote a logical thought process getting applied to whatever situation's unfolding. Now, no two situations are the same. If some guy is actively assaulting you, you might not have time to have some internal discussion on what's going to make the most sense. It might be go time now versus, again, the scenario of the guy following you that we just spoke of. And then there's everything in between. But if you are in a place where you have the ability to take a couple deep breaths and say, okay, it looks like this is what might be unfolding. And what is my best option? Well, right now, my best option is probably to walk back into the store where there's a lot of people, and I'm going to go find a manager and say, hey, could you and another coworker walk me to my car, please? I feel unsafe. Something like that, right? And guys, I'm here to tell you as a man, no one's going to think you're stupid. No one's going to think you're fucking being dramatic. If I was at the mall and a young lady came up to me and said, hey, sir, the parking lot's dark and there's some people out there that I don't feel comfortable with. Would you mind walking to my car? I'd be fucking honored. Like, that would feel good, right? So don't ever hesitate to do those kind of things, right? So if you have the ability to change something within the scenario by slowing down and thinking logically and coming up with some different solutions, do that. But the other side of it, which Lappin addressed, is if something unfolds in real time, you know, the only thing that's going to fucking save you is the training and the work you put in preceding that event transpiring, period. If someone's trying to abduct you, if someone's trying to hurt you, if someone's trying to rape you, if someone is trying to do anything, if they're trying to do violence against you, and now you are in a scenario where it is go time, the only thing that is going to lessen the anxiety and build a scenario where you fucking win is the time that you put in ahead of time, both physically and emotionally. And what I mean by emotionally is going back to the wargaming. If you're a young lady, think about these different things. Think about if I'm walking to my car one day and some guy is following me, what do I do right now? What's the first thing that I would do? Come up with some answers, have some solutions. But not only the emotional side of it, like how many hours have you spent on the mats? Guys, I say it all the time. I believe for a female to defeat a male attacker, and guys, there's no two scenarios that are the same, but on average, I think purple belt females versus untrained attackers, you're going to find your choke, you're going to find your sweep, and your jiu-jitsu is going to serve you. But if you're a white belt female that is 115 pounds and some 200-pound guy is trying to grab you from your car, I mean, I don't want to sell snake oil. Jiu-jitsu serves you in every capacity of life, but it's not the end-all be-all. I think you can reach a point where your jiu-jitsu will serve you substantially more, and for me, I think it's purple belt. But fuck, guys, look at Leandro Lowe. Maybe the best guy to ever do it. I mean, when you want to talk about the GOATs of grappling and jiu-jitsu, he's in that conversation. And he got faced with a violent encounter and got fucking killed. Your jiu-jitsu is not the end-all be-all. Your MMA is not the end-all be-all. But it is a substantial tool to have in your toolbox to navigate the world that we're in. But be aware of that, right? Don't tell yourself a lie. If you're telling yourself a lie that your jiu-jitsu is the end-all be-all, I challenge you to buy a shock knife and go do a no-gi session, because I've done that. And you will find that as a black belt level grappler, I am getting shocked constantly. Your jiu-jitsu is not the end-all be-all. But the fact is, regardless if your jiu-jitsu is going to specifically serve you, you know what it's going to do? It's going to take you from a place where anxiety is a derivative of the altercation that's happening, and you're going to realize, okay, I've been here before. Maybe you haven't been here specifically, but you felt these emotions before. Every day you train, you're doing a dry run. And what you're doing is you're conditioning your mind and your body to deal with the spikes of emotions and the spikes of adrenaline and the hormone dumps. And if you've done that day in and day out for a long time, both on the mats and on the range, when the day comes where it's real world, it's not going to feel that much different because you're used to it and you've conditioned your body to be able to respond to violent stimuli. Your body doesn't know that last night at practice, that dude that was putting his knee through your sternum and strangling you is one of your best friends. Your body just knows, I was fucking dying and I had to fight my way out of it. So continue to train. If you're worried about how you're going to react in a violent encounter, because the thought of it comes with anxiety and it comes with fear, spend more hours putting in the time. So if that does present itself, you've built a lot of dry reps and it's going to fucking serve you. You know, some people were concerned about the legal aspect of it. And the first thing I said is, listen, I'm not a fucking lawyer, and I'm not going to tell you when or when not to shoot someone because I don't feel like testifying in court. Yet my Guns Gis cadre told me that if a man gets within 4 feet of me and he's this much bigger than me, that I am cleared to shoot. Like, that's not how it works. I can't tell you when it's applicable to use deadly force and when it's not, because no two scenarios are the same. But this is what I will say. It's better to be tried by 12 than carried by 6. And if there's any legal concern that gets in the way of you potentially defending your life or defending the life of a loved one's, I don't give a fuck. I'll figure that out after the fucking fact. If I know that somebody I love or myself is in danger, and maybe I have my gun and maybe I'm at a school and I have my gun. Because you think when my fucking daughters are doing their fucking recitals and shit that I'm not strapped? Bullshit. You better think again. I don't give a fuck what the policy is. Because where do these people continuously target? They target gun-free zones. They target the most vulnerable people. And if they think they're coming to my kids' play to do their bullshit, we got a fucking problem. So for me, if you're a responsible gun owner and you have your gun holstered correctly in a good, high quality fucking concealed holster, and you're being the responsible gun owner that you're supposed to be, no one knows you have your fucking gun on you anyways. So if you go into the bank or you go into the post office or these places that say gun-free zone, guess what? No one's going to know and no one's going to care. But if you find yourself in there and some psycho motherfucker comes in there killing people and you get to be the person that drops them, you're probably going to be a hero. But if some faggot prosecutor wants to come after you because you had your gun in a gun-free zone, go ahead. I'll face the legal charges alive. And the truth, guys, in the society we live in, I wouldn't put it past them. Hey, a guy just came in with an AK and was shooting children at a recital. And this guy pulled out a concealed carry and killed him. But it was a gun-free zone, so we're going to have to press charges. I would hope that we could be better than that, but we'll see. I mean, fuck, does anything surprise us anymore? The last question I want to touch on is, there's this younger guy there named Mike who was a savage. Shout out, Mike. I know you listen to the show. He's a white belt, and the rounds with him were real. It's not very often when I find that in jiu-jitsu anymore. Most white belts I can roll as white belts. And that means that's not taking anything away from white belts, right? Everybody's a white belt at some point. But after 20 years of grappling, when I put my hands on a white belt, I can do whatever I want to you. And now I'm going to dial it up or down based on what type of training I want you to receive. This fucking dude, it was dial it to 10 because if you don't, it's going to be a long night and you better pack a fucking lunch. But it also comes with a lot of the intangibles of fighting, the physicality, the will to win, just being in shape, having a good gas tank, and being eager to fucking get it on. All of that stuff plays a huge role. And this guy had what I call the intangibles. He had the intangibles, which makes for a gnarly match. But, he's finding himself in a place in life where he's lacking purpose. He wants to find a mission. He wants to do something meaningful. And here's the unique thing. And I'm not going to give his story on the air, but he's positioned himself in life in a manner both on his own accord and then through some unforeseen circumstances where he has a decent amount of money. He has a decent income. But he doesn't feel like he's doing something that's meaningful, and he doesn't feel like he has purpose. And guys, I'm going to end the podcast with this. And I really want you guys to think about this. I made a post about it on Instagram yesterday too. Figure out a way to be you for a living. Does that always mean it's going to be the most lucrative path? You're going to be the richest person? You're going to be the most wealthy. You're going to have the biggest house. You're going to have a Ferrari. Not necessarily. In fact, being you for a living may come with a period where you're struggling, where things are hard, where you are having a hard time making ends meet. But what you're going to find is once you figure out a way to pursue a path that's based on your own personal passion, your own personal interests, you're enriching your community in a manner that you believe is important and that you think is adding value to people's lives. Once you do that, the money comes as a byproduct. People want value. That's what they want. People want to be seen. They want to be heard. They want you to listen. And they want to become a better person. And how do you add to that? In what capacity can you add value to other people's lives? It's a big part of finding your mission. And the reason that I understand this now is because my Jiu-Jitsu Academy is adding tremendous value to people's lives. And for the first time, maybe ever, I feel fulfilled. You would think doing fucking countless operations in Iraq and Afghanistan would give me fulfillment. It was fun. I enjoyed it. And I wouldn't take it back. But it didn't fulfill my heart. Same thing as a police officer. Same thing as a U.S. Marshal. I did lots of things that were cool and interesting and exciting. But I didn't get that fulfillment on a soulful level. I'm getting that now. And the reason that I'm getting that now, there's several different angles that we can come at this. Day in and day out, I see my actions and my mission building others up, giving them confidence, giving them a skill set that they can rely on, while simultaneously building camaraderie, finding people that are like-minded, challenging each other, facing adversity together. I see that, and I see it day in and day out. But the other side of it is, once you're calling the shots and you're doing something on your terms, on your timeline, and you're sinking or swimming on your own accord, it feels fucking good. Instead of some other man or some other woman or some other corporation that just fucking is there to suck you dry to promote themselves and promote their own success and their own financial gain, instead of serving some entity that you're out of alignment with, serve yourself. And once you start serving yourself, what you can find is there's a better version inside of you, and then you can give to others. That's where the fucking magic happens. That is where the fucking magic happens. You have to build the best version of yourself first. Then that person can give to others, and you'll be fucking shocked at how powerful it is. That's all I got for today, guys. We went over. Solo episodes are usually an hour. We're at an hour and 20. I had some more stuff to talk about, but you know what? We'll fucking save it for next time. Thanks for listening, guys.